Today I'm talking about moving beyond conventional thinking and just how liberating it is to abandon logic. That's not to say you don't use logic, but you don't use logic as your only means in this world. And that the spirit of your creative ingenuity is what works miracles. And so you learn you need very little. You actually need nothing. And so we're going to talk about that and how to get over the limit of conventional thinking. So, stick around. Conventional thinking is probably the most difficult habit to break. It's this kind of notion that everybody knows this, and that, right? And we often are hypnotized by conventional thinking, aren't we? We're scared by it because that's where statistics come from. Statistics come from believing that luck is a chance-like thing and the universe is not ordered and structured. And it can appear that way, but time and time again, people continue to defy logical, conventional thinking. To name a few, Stephen Hawking, who did not have any use of his body, and contributed to an area of science that will most likely never be dwarfed. Helen Keller. I just recently read about a lady who earned a college degree and she had locked-in syndrome. This is just, you would think they were in a vegetative state, but they do have full consciousness and they have the ability to blink. So she earned a college degree by blinking. Now, conventional thinking would be that you need all sorts of things to earn a college degree. And she says, nope, all you need are eyelids that work. And I'm sure there are people who have no eyelids, can't even see, can't any function of the eyelid, and still can earn a college degree. So despite your limitations, your desires will be such that you can still attain them, even if you have limits which by conventional standards leave you disabled. So we see this time and again that we believe that we need things to achieve our heart's desires. And let's say your heart's desire is to be a musician. Just do a quick Google search about how hard making a career as a musician is. Less than 1% of the people who go into music ever make it into any kind of sustainable living. That's conventional thinking. With that said, you couldn't see yourself doing anything else but music. That's how you beat conventional thinking. You're limited to only that passionate desire. So if that burns within you, that so-called conventional thinking can kiss my ass. I was one of those musicians. Little 12-year-old kid playing the organ. That's what I was going to do for a living. And it turned into a very prosperous academic career. I kind of felt my way through it. I was a 1%er. Do a quick Google search of how many people in their 50s have a six-pack, definable abdominal muscles, and you will see just how rare that is. I am one of those people. How many people are successful at freelance writing and content creation? Oh, that's a hard one. It's very hard to get into that. Fewer than 3 or 4%, that sort of thing. But again, conventional thinking is the way most of us think, and we're sort of shy away from these prestigious ways of defying conventional thinking. And we believe ourselves to have no creative spirit. But it's the creative spirit that loves to transcend conventional thinking and what looks like limit. And so somebody who is a free thinker and kind of defies logic and who does not use logic as a primary means of getting what they want, do remarkable things that conventional thinking looks at and says, lucky. But we all have this creative ingenuity. Jesus called it the Father. Can you believe that? What a terrible way to think about intuitive creativity as the Father. But that is exactly what this is. It is a pioneering spirit of free thinking that takes a second look at conventional thinking and says, wait a minute, I've seen people transcend poverty. I've seen people transcend the body. I've seen people transcend limit of all kinds. I've seen people take 50 cents and turn it into 50 billion. But this is about finding the magic touch, right? These people have found a way to take what they have and turn it into gold. And they'll say, oh, this sucks. I don't have the tools. Stephen Hawking didn't have a body. Well, what are the tools of success? It's very simple. It's consciousness. It's awareness. Helen Keller was aware. The lady with locked-in syndrome, she was aware. She had eyelids. That was it. So with those limitations, her desires were fulfilled. I don't believe that the universe would give you a desire you can't fulfill. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be so cruel to myself as to give me a desire that I could not see come through to fruition despite my logical minds calling it impossible. How cruel. Jesus also said, it's my Father's great pleasure to give you the keys to the kingdom. Well, the keys to the kingdom would be using your creative sense to make more of what you already have. To go back to it and say, well, maybe I can take a little step towards this, despite what my logical mind is saying is inconvenient, too hard, too much time. That's what laziness is. Laziness is thinking about how much it takes to get what you want. That's lazy. The creative mind just gets going. First of all, the creative mind says, thank you. When Jesus was given 3 loaves and 2 fishes or whatever it was, he didn't say, oh man, this sucks. I got 5,000 people to feed. How am I going to do anything with that? You know what he did? He took it and said, thank you. Let's see what we can do with this. Thank you. Let's see what we can do with our consciousness. See, that's free thinking. Well, another word for free thinking is heresy. Jesus was a heretic, and so am I. So are you. You have to think beyond the limit. What can you do with what you have? Multiply it. Apply some magic to it. Go back to it, roll up your sleeves and say, maybe I can make a gourmet meal out of oatmeal and pasta and a can of tuna. You might be surprised at how much you can do with how little looks like is there. Conventional thinking says you need $10,000 to start a business. Conventional thinking says you need an education before you even get started. Conventional thinking, you know what? Fuck conventional thinking. That's basically what you have to do, is doubt your doubts. That's where the creative mind lights up like a fire. And you realize that the things that your mind is telling you is a limit is actually a friend, like gravity. Gravity seems to be weighing you down, but it's what makes standing up possible. Doubt seems to be weighing you down, but it's what makes fear possible. Doubt is the essence of fear. Conventional thinking is linear with drop-offs, and you keep thinking you're going to fall off the cliff, but the universe is spherical. Everything about the universe is spherical. The horizon keeps going. It keeps going. And when things start to dry up, remember, you're just on your way to a breaking point. When the limit drives your conventional mind crazy and it gives up, your spirit will just keep plowing through. How are we going to make more out of this? It's taking a tool and multiplying it with the creative ingenuity, the spirit of the creative mind, which Jesus called the Father. Buddha called it nirvana, just this freedom to think, okay, maybe I can find a way. It might be a tiny little way, but I am the way, meaning I'm the creative spirit that can find a way around all of this limited conventional thinking if I stop and pause and think it's not over yet. You can resurrect any situation. Any situation. You can turn around any flailing business, any wayward relationship. You can, if there is a glimmer of hope, the creative spirit will find a way. And the only thing you need is consciousness, which is flowing in abundance. And all of these people that seem to have overcome obstacles, the one thing they have in common with you is a brain, a creative brain, a mind that can do it. It's that wonderful pioneering spirit. Just give me nothing and plop me down somewhere on the globe and watch me come back a billionaire. That's why it's been said that if we took all the money away from the rich people and gave it to the poor people, within a very short amount of time, it would be back in the pockets of the rich. They found a knack to be creative, and they use it. They're never without that creative ingenuity. That's the Father, friends. This is not religion. This is a shame that we call that God, when that's who we are fundamentally. That's the essence of being a human, is that you are divine in human form, overcoming this sense of limit, brought forth by conventional thinking. Now come on. If you got health problems, if you got relationship problems, if you got financial problems, you name it, keep watching this channel and we're going to learn how to beat conventional thinking together. I want you to become a free thinker, become a heretic. Turn off the news. Turn off this. Don't Google your symptoms. Don't go on Google and say, is this profession easy or doable? You Google, you're the internet. You Google yourself. And yourself will tell you, yes, this is what we want. We want the impossible. We want unconventional. We want to turn around hopeless situations to show the very power of the creative ingenuity in the spirit within. Your essence will be demonstrated once you transcend conventional thinking. Friends, this is about doubting your doubt. This is metacognition. This is science, not religion. The universe is lawful. This is thinking about thinking, being aware of being aware, doubting your doubts, transcending the double bind. And the conventional thinking is a loop of doomsday, a vicious circle of karma that can be broken with independent thinking by becoming a heretic. The very thing the church has condemned. Think! Why would Jesus be special? Why would anybody be special? The universe is lawful. Gravity applies to everything. If a rock had fallen on Jesus, he would have died, and gravity would have been the cause. Gravity is indiscriminate. These laws of attraction, these laws of creativity are indiscriminate. They're impersonal. Everybody can use creativity to transcend what looks like a limit. And if we keep giving handouts, the creative mind will continue to be dormant. You must show forth that demonstrative power within you. Those are where the real rewards of life lie. In making what you have multiply exponentially. Making consciousness more than it is, which is nothing and everything. Conventional thinking has a red light on it. And heretics are constantly seeing a green light in their intuitive spirit. That doesn't apply to me. The budget, the limitations, the age, the statistics in the conventional thinking do not apply to me. Let's beat this. Let's believe in the I can. Let's believe in that creative ingenuity that knows better than conventional thinking. And everybody around you is going to tell you no. You can't be this, and you can't do that, and you can't have that. You've heard these things before if you've watched channels like this. I'm just telling you, that nameless essence has been called God, but that is you. Right there, always with you, guiding. You will find a way because you are the way. That's why I say it that way. So if you're interested in beating conventional thinking, become a heretic. Get into the creative ingenuity, and everything that you touch will turn into gold. And you'll realize you didn't need a thing but consciousness itself. My name is Ryan. I hope you enjoyed these insights, and I hope that you'll come back often. Please check out my blog, mymorningmotivator.com, or one of my books on Amazon, and we'll talk to you later.